Okay, question of the week. Have you ever wondered if it's even possible to make good money writing fiction anymore? Like, do people even make money on Amazon? Or is it just all authors spending thousands of hours and thousands of dollars to produce a book only to get minimal returns? Is there too much competition for this to even be worthwhile anymore? Well, if you've ever wondered that or thought anything along these lines, then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about what the answer to that question is, how we can combat that sort of thing, and why you're probably thinking about it all wrong. Stay tuned. Hey there, aspiring fiction author. Do you dream of writing fiction that connects with readers and makes you money? Do you struggle to finish your manuscripts, dealing with indecision as to the plot or all-out writer's block? Are you sick of feeling that each time you write and publish a book, you're rolling the dice as to how the book will be received and how much money, if any, you'll make? Tired of hearing that marketing is a game of luck and testing and hopefully one day it will all come together for you? So you either give up amassing a file full of half-finished manuscripts and stop marketing altogether because nothing seems to be working, or you push through, feeling constantly uncertain and wondering how on earth the top-selling authors on Amazon are doing it. There is a way to simplify and streamline, a step-by-step process you can follow so you can finish your books with confidence, know your marketing will get results, and build a fiction business that sustains you. Hi, I'm Liesl, fiction coach, Christian manifestation enthusiast, and USA Today best-selling author. Want to steal all my secrets? Grab a pen and paper and put on your comfy slippers, because I'm about to teach you fiction writing and marketing secrets not being taught in the fiction author space, and those secrets will make all the difference in your fiction author success. Let's dive right in. So I actually had someone ask me this a couple of months ago, and I did actually address it in one of the episodes of the podcast, but it was just a really quick couple of minutes me answering their question. But I actually have gotten this in the past as well. I remember years ago, it was right after I wrote my first book, so it was probably 10, 12 years ago. I told somebody at the place I was working at the time that I was publishing a book. And he kind of looked at me funny, gave me kind of a quizzical look, and then he asked me this. He said, "Do people make money doing that?" And aside from being, mildly offended and all that, I just remember thinking that was kind of a silly question. I thought, have you not heard of Harry Potter? Like, what do you mean, do people make money at this? But, people who aren't so much in the book world, I don't think he was much of a reader. So I can understand why, if you never read anything, you can't imagine that anyone can make enough money writing to pay their bills, right? So part of it is just, perception and bias on any given person's part. But it is also a legitimate question that a lot of authors are asking these days. And, at the time, even though I had kind of a negative reaction to his reaction, that may have come, on some level for me because I was afraid that maybe he was right. And maybe that was a legitimate question to be asking. Well, thankfully, I can tell you now that that is definitely not the case. Plenty of people make money at doing this. It's very possible to do. But it is still a legitimate question, and it brings up some issues that I think every author needs to take into account, okay? I can pretty much guarantee that anyone who's asking that question, can you make money doing this, is thinking about it backwards, okay? You're really approaching it from the wrong perspective, and I'm going to try to convince you of that today because there is so much potential, so much hope for anybody who wants to do this full time, okay? So I don't want you getting down on yourself and feeling like it's just a hopeless endeavor because nothing could be further from the truth, okay? So there are 3 reasons I think you need to take into consideration and 3 things that will help you understand why I say that talking about it this way is really thinking about it backward, okay? Number 1, other people's success has absolutely nothing to do with yours. I'm going to unpack these more in just a minute, okay? Number 2, those not making money at this, it's not because of too much competition. That is not why they're not making money. I'm not going to lie. There are plenty of people who are not making very good money at this, but there are specific reasons for that, and it is not the amount of competition on Amazon, okay? And number 3, competition is actually a good thing. The more competition there is, the better the prospects for us, okay? So give me a minute. I'm going to unpack all of those so that you understand what I'm talking about, okay? So we're going to start with number 1. Other people's success has absolutely nothing to do with you or your success. And guys, this is the truest thing I could possibly impart to you, okay? We've got to stop comparing ourselves to others. Healthy competition is fine and, certainly competing with ourselves to do better, but really I used to think it was okay to compete with yourself, and now I don't even like to quite say it that way. I don't like to frame it that way. I would rather say that I have a goal and I just work steadily toward hitting that goal. It's not about competitiveness, okay? It's about deciding what you want and then working until you get it. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how big or how small the goal is, okay? Other people may not have the success that you are looking for, but there could be, and there really is, 1,000 reasons for that. Maybe they haven't done the work at all. I mean, throwing a book up on Amazon, even if it's a, quote unquote, pretty good book and it has, quote unquote, pretty good reviews, that doesn't mean the author has done the work to write a really high quality novel. And it certainly doesn't mean they know how to market it, right? Maybe they just don't have the knowledge to know how to do that. Maybe they gave up too soon. We all know that this can take a little while to take off, and especially in the early years, our skills are not where they need to be. I mean, that's the point. We start wherever we were at, and then we improve. And if you give up too early, you might not hit that success, right? So there could be so many reasons why people are not making the money that you are hoping to see, and their success or failure has absolutely nothing to do with you. So stop thinking about it that way. I mean, there are so many examples out there of books that were rejected multiple times, that didn't do well, and no one, especially the authors who wrote them, thought that they would ever make much money. And then boom, something happened and sales of that book soared up into the stratosphere. This happened with Lord of the Rings. This happened with Twilight. This happened with Harry Potter. I mean, there's a lot of them that this happens with, okay? So it has nothing to do with whether other people are making money or not, okay? There are writers out there who only want to do it part-time, who only want to make kind of chunk change at their books because that's all the effort they want to put into it. And that's fine. That's up to them, But if you really want to make a go of this, you absolutely can. But you've got to stop comparing yourself to other people. And you've got to stop listening to people who say, oh, it's not possible to make money at this anymore. No. No. It is not. Maybe it's not possible for you to make money at it because you have decided that that is your truth. But that has nothing to do with me. If I want to make good money at this, I'm going to make good money at this. Period. Okay? So once again, other people's success has nothing to do with you or your success. Okay? It's all about how bad you want it, how hard you're willing to work, and most importantly, that you're willing to do the work. And by the work, I do not mean strategy, okay? The work that's going to ultimately sell your book and make you successful is not posting on social media. It's not running CPC ads and throwing money at the problem, okay? It's about really truly digging deep and doing the work to figure out how to sell your book. And because your book is so unique to you, the way you sell it is going to be unique to anything else. And I know that can sound a little bit overwhelming, but it's not as bad as you think, okay? This is what I teach in my course. It's not that hard once you have a strategy for how to figure it out, okay? But most people, they don't want to do that. They just want a plug and chug formula that they can plug their blurb into and it'll make them $1 million overnight. And that's not the way it works, okay? You have to be able to figure out how to write a book that readers want to buy and then how to bring your unique story into the world and present it in a way that will make people buy it. That is the real work. If you're willing to do that, you will be successful. If you're not willing to do that, honestly, it's going to be real rough for you, okay? So that's point number one. Point number two. Those not making money, it's not happening because of competition. More often than not, it's because those authors, and yes, it's probably 80% of people who are uploading books to Amazon. It is the vast majority, but it's because they do not have the first idea how to market their books. They do the best they can. Like, I'm not trying to be down on them or anything, but they're posting on social media. They're doing everything that all the advice that our space has to offer on Facebook, on Instagram, in all the groups. They're doing all those things. And those things, I mean, there are some authors who are having success with them, that's for sure, and that's why they're sharing them. But the problem is that when you're on the outside looking in, especially at something like marketing, it's really hard to figure out what it is that person's doing that is giving them success. And it's usually not the outward strategy. So, for example, if you were looking at the bestseller list for your genre on Amazon, and you decided to try and copy the format of some of those blurbs. Now, that really, in and of itself, is not a bad thing. You should always be looking around at things like that and trying to figure out what's working and see if you can replicate it. But looking in from the outside and trying to figure out what about that blurb is working, it tends to be a little bit counterintuitive. If you're just copying the structure, like what the author is talking about, okay, here they talked about the character, here they talked a little bit about the backstory, here they talked about this problem, which is probably the inciting incident. Just doing that, you're probably not going to have the same success with the blurb you're writing as the author did whose blurb you are copying. And that's because there are things you can't see that are working underneath the surface. It would almost be like looking at a house and saying, I could build that, and starting to build the brick or stucco exterior without framing it, because you can't see the frame. It's underneath. And so if you don't already know how to do that, it's really hard to figure it out just by looking at it from the outside. Okay, that's kind of how it is. So the people not making money, they just don't know how to market. And that's not their fault. They've never been taught, and maybe they're genuinely trying. I absolutely give them props for the work they do and how hard they're trying. But the point is, there's a reason they're not making money, and it is not the competition. How do I know this? Because let's look at, for example, the romance genre. There is a ton of competition in the romance genre, probably more than any other genre out there. And yes, it is a very highly read genre. They also have probably the most readers and definitely the most voracious readers and all that. But we're going to put that aside for a minute, because if it were really about competition, like how many authors are writing in that genre, I mean, there are thousands. There are thousands upon thousands of romance books being uploaded every single month. And guess what? People are still making really, really insanely good money writing romance. So if it were the competition that was keeping people from having sales, you would not see very many successful romance writers, because there would only be so many, right? So many books to go around, so many dollars to go around from the readers, and the rest would just not be doing very well. Now, of course, there are also people who upload to romance who aren't doing well, but my point is that there's a correlation, but it's not absolute. At some point, this argument fails, because even with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of authors and thousands upon thousands of books, a single author can still upload a book and get insanely awesome sales. So it can't be about the competition, right? Rather, it's about something that that author is doing right that others are doing wrong. And it's just about, do they know how to market? And, you know, it may even go deeper than that. I said a good 80% of the authors out there don't know how to market. I would even go a step further and say a good percentage of them don't even know how to write a good book in the first place, okay? And then I hate to use the phrase they're doing it wrong, but they're doing things that are not going to lead to success. Let's put it that way. So they're writing a book that readers are not connecting with for whatever reason, and then they're marketing it in a way that is not getting people to, you know, download or buy their book. And after doing these things that do not lead to success, they get frustrated and they throw their hands up and they say, see, you can't make money doing this. But they're not doing the right things to begin with. Okay, that would be like a child trying to learn math and saying, okay, 2 + 2 is 5. And you say, no, 2 + 2 is 4. That was incorrect. And they throw up their hands and say, you know, it's just not possible to do math these days. I mean, that's pretty much what people are doing. If you're not doing the right things to bring you success, why are you complaining and saying it's not possible to achieve success? You've got to do the right things first, and then you can make a statement like that, right? So once again, when people are not making money doing this, it's not because of the competition. It's because they do not have all their ducks in a row. They have not learned to do the things that will actually bring them success and make them money at this, okay? Number 3, and this is probably going to be the hardest one for some of you to wrap your head around. Competition is a good thing. It is a very good thing, okay? The more authors we have uploading to Amazon, the more people we have writing fiction, the better for us. I'm not kidding. People, I know that some of you will think I'm crazy, but anyone who has ever run a business who knows much about the laws of economics, competition means there's a great deal of want for a certain product. And we actually do see this in the industry as we move along. When Amazon first came along and the digital revolution first happened, there was, I mean, I have no idea, I'm going to be guessing at the numbers, but there was probably like 5 genres, whatever it was, 10 categories. I mean, they were just the big ones, right? They were romance and mystery and sci-fi fantasy and thriller. And I mean, that was probably pretty much it. And then as the market has matured and more people want, different genres, we've seen more and more categories emerge and subcategories and subgenres and niches, right? So that's because more specific wants are, in terms of what people want to read, are emerging. And that means that we have more freedom to write what we want because there are more people than ever before looking for books that we're writing, right? So I will say that the gold rush when it comes to Amazon is pretty much over. And people might, again, see that as a bad thing. Well, yeah, but the gold rush was when it was easy to make money. That's true. But here's the thing. The time when it's easy to make money, we kind of tend to romanticize that a lot, but it's really not the best thing ever. Even if you're talking about like an actual gold rush, okay? Somebody in the Old West struck gold. Everybody flocks there to try and strike gold too. But that's a very brutal society, okay? Everyone is knocking each other over, trying to get to this gold that's easy to get. People are getting killed, people are being hurt and brutalized, and even trying to mine that gold, there's people who died just from the elements and from the brutality, what it did to their bodies to try and get that. And it's all in the name of just trying to make an easy buck, okay? And it's just, I don't think it's worth it. And while, it might not have been nearly as physical, the gold rush on Amazon, we still kind of saw that. We were seeing a lot of authors uploading stories, and yeah, they were making good money because everyone was so excited for this new technology. You can download a book onto a tablet. I mean, wow, that's like Star Trek, And so they could upload a book that was terribly edited and had an awful cover, and the story just really wasn't even there. And I can attest to that. I'm sure a lot of you remember this, but I would download a free book and I would read it and I would be like, this isn't even a story. This is a disjointed jumble of words. You know what I mean? There was just nothing to it. So my point is, while people were making good money, the products, the things they were producing were more often than not absolute crap. And the ones that weren't are the ones that survived and that are still being bought today. And, the authors have refined them and gotten better covers and things like that. So of course that doesn't apply to everyone, but a lot of them it applied to. Okay, so the gold rush might be mostly over, but what that means is that the industry is starting to settle in a good way. It means it's no longer easy to make oodles of money on really mediocre, if not downright crappy work. But guess what that means? It means that there is a new crop of authors who is rising up, who are in it for the long haul, who are in it to put 1 million transformational stories into the world, who will hone their craft and their marketing, who will become master storytellers and expert marketers. And I'm so excited for this because it means that it will actually, in a lot of ways, be easier to make a name for yourself. And yes, it will always be hard work to be a fiction author, okay? I'm not saying it's going to be, lay around the Elysian fields in a toga kind of easy. No, obviously not. It takes work. But at this point, the people who were in it just for the fame or for the glory or for the money, they're falling away. And that means that the new crop of authors that are up and coming are going to be very good at what they do. They're going to put very high quality stories into the world. They're going to change people with their stories. And we will get a lot more, certainly a lot more respect as an industry than we have gotten before, because in order to be successful, we are going to have to level up, right? But again, that's a good thing. I have always been someone who is way more interested in something that takes longer, but it's higher quality, to work harder for it than something that's just a piece of junk that you got for free. Okay. There's way more satisfaction in going the long route and really putting out something high quality. And there's way more success in it. Okay. So believe me, competition is a good thing because the more authors that are uploading mediocre things, right, into Amazon or whatever, platform we're talking about, when you write something and it is really high quality, you are going to stand out, right? And on the flip side, when it comes to other authors who are also really good quality, they're going to force everybody to level up, right? And again, that's just a good thing for the industry in general. don't be sad that you missed the days when it was super easy to make money on Amazon. If you were meant to be part of that, you would have been part of it, but you're here now, which means you're meant to do something better, to dig a little deeper, to elevate yourself more, to elevate your writing more. And by doing that, you will elevate your readers more. Okay. It's really important that you understand that. So once again, keep these 3 things in mind, because this is how you're kind of thinking of it backwards. When people say, is it possible to make money at this? Yes. But even coming at it from that direction shows me that you're thinking about it wrong, because number one, other people's success has absolutely nothing to do with you and your success, okay? You need to decide what you want, and you need to work toward it, period. Who cares whether anyone else has had success or not? You do not know what they have or have not done to achieve success, right? Number 2, when you have authors who are not making money, it is not because of the competition, it is because of their skill set, either in writing or in marketing or in both, okay? And number 3, competition is actually a very good thing. It shows that our industry is thriving, and as long as it is thriving, there's always the chance to make a living in any industry as long as it is thriving and there are customers who want what we are putting out. And believe me, there are more people reading fiction than ever before, and it's more accessible to them than ever before. And you have a better opportunity to write and sell fiction and make money, make a living at it than ever before. So yes, people can make money at it. And yes, there is a lot of competition, but be excited about that. Embrace that. Know that that will ensure your success. Okay. So if you want to be part of this new crop of authors who are going to become, as I said, master storytellers and expert marketers, then you've really got to buckle down and learn your stuff, right? You got to figure out how to work through block, how to make decisions about your story, how to bring your unique story into the world and present it to readers in a way that they will connect with, that will give them catharsis, that will, take whatever your story is, whatever genre you write, whatever tropes you're dealing with, and turn that into a page-turning story, because only a page-turning story is one that, readers will gush about, review, tell their friends about. And I got news for you. That's what makes a bestseller. And so that is also what is going to make you the most money and help you reach whatever level of fiction writing you want to reach. This is all stuff that I'm going to be teaching in my course, which is going to kick off in February. It is actually a coaching program. And I'm excited to finally announce that I actually do have a free training coming up in order to help kick it off. And I'm really, really excited about it. So I'm putting on a free webinar for anybody who wants to attend. It is called How to Use Secret Reader Triggers to Write Better Stories, Sell More Books, and Create a Sustainable Fiction Business. Okay, so I've been talking a lot lately about the skill of turning potential readers into buyers, right? It's one thing to use tropes and genre to bring them to your book's sales page, but once there, do you know how to convert them into buyers? And how you do this is through these secret reader triggers that work, that get people to actually click and buy. So that's kind of what the webinar, the training, is going to be about. Okay, so once again, it's called How to Use Secret Reader Triggers to Write Better Stories, Sell More Books, and Create a Sustainable Fiction Business. And like I said, it's a free training. I'm going to link it up in the show notes so that you can register and save your seat. I'm going to be teaching it for several weeks, so there will be several different times that you can come to. It's going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday nights every week for probably 4 to 6 weeks that I'm going to be teaching this. So you can either click the link in the show notes, or if you want to go to it on your own, it is bit.ly/secret reader triggers, all one word. But again, it will be in the show notes if you just want to click. So I'm really excited that I'm finally getting this kicked off. I've been working on this for months, and I'm excited to finally bring it to you. I think it's going to be a blast, and I'm really, really excited to teach all of the stuff, how to write really unique but really connecting stories, how to create bestsellers out of whatever story you already have, how to convert potential readers into buyers. I mean, all of it, they're such important skills. And when you master them and you start seeing sales, it's just magical. So I hope you will all join me in that free training. I look forward to seeing you there. The first one is still more than a week away, but like I said, there's lots of different time slots that you can sign up for. So I will leave you with that. I hope that was helpful today. I hope that got you thinking a little bit about the kinds of things that are going on in the industry, and just don't let the Debbie Downers get you down. There is so much potential for you to succeed at this if that's something you want and if you're willing to do the work. That's really the message that I wanted to bring you today through this particular episode. Okay? So with that, I will send you off into the world wishing you happiness, creativity, and many, many, many royalties. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for listening today. Before you go, would you be willing to do me a solid? If you found any value at all in this episode today, would you be willing to share it with other authors just like you in the hopes that they might find some value in it as well? Happy story crafting this week. Remember, only you can bring the world the unique story that you are trying to tell. Only you can succeed in your own unique way in getting it out of your mind and your heart and into a medium where it can reach thousands, if not millions, of salivating readers. You don't have to worry about failure because there is always a market for awesome.